Hamid Ahmad, Stephen Green, Tyrone Isles, Josh Richardson, Jihan Mohammed, Joey Todd, wicketkeeper, and Justin Clark. Then the Oxford side, skippered by George Tate. And the team goes Harvey Jupp, Farhan Khan, Arthur Muir, wicketkeeper Tom Norton, Manan Parmar, Balaji Ramalingam,
And welcome back to this slightly wet Wormsley for the second of our two T20 games this afternoon at the Hartwell Cup. Horspath versus Oxford. Oxford won the toss and they are batting first off, and going to default to Kieran Bushnell this afternoon to give us a quick update as to what the shortened form of this game is going to be, because it's been a bit rain interrupted, and also we're delaying the start until 4 o'clock, and if we do go the full length it'll be dark by the time we get there, and there's no floodlights here at Wormsley. So Kieran, what's the upshot of the umpire's decision as to how they're going to shorten this second game, Kieran?
Yeah, it's been shortened to 15 overs a side, so 10 overs less essentially in the game to try and get the game in before it gets too dark. It is going to be pretty dark later. It's really overcast, miserable now this afternoon. We got the game in this morning in reasonable weather, but it absolutely poured down for a good hour and a half, which has made for this game having to be shortened. Before we start on the cricket, kudos I have to say to the ground staff here, because I did not expect, even though Wormsley is a first-class cricket ground, I did not expect to be starting cricket at 4 o'clock with the rain that came down. So Oxford captain George Tate won the toss. Interestingly, he opted to bat first, which, given that we've had so much rain, slightly surprises me. The pitch won't have changed an awful lot. It's been under cover, so may have sort of picked up a bit of moisture and sweated a bit under those covers. I don't think the pitch is going to have changed much from this morning. I think possibly the outfield may be a little bit slower, but it may be sort of minuscule really, because it's such a fantastic venue, and the ground staff have worked absolute wonders to get this game ready for 15 overs a side. And Oxford versus Horspath is a real rivalry. They merged for a couple of years, Oxford and Horspath cricket clubs. That then demerged, and they now play in as separate entities again, and always a big local rivalry between these two sides.
On their way, the Oxford openers.
Okay, so just here on the PA, the Oxford openers coming out. I'm also joined in commentary by Wes Spearman, a man of Mr. Lovell Cricket, and also down at Hampshire County Cricket Club now as part of their social media team. Wes, two opening bats here for Oxford are, and you'll have to help me out, they're both wearing, I thought they were both wearing 13, they're not. One's got 1-3, and one's got 7-3, yeah.
Yeah, annoyingly similar that. I've actually played with and against these two. I played against George Tate when he was at Banbury, and I played with Manan Palmer, who once run me out.
Okay.
I think an under-15s game. I played another game with him, and he got a ton. Well, that might have been the same game, actually.
Right. Alongside as well as Darryl Woods, local cricket coach as well, and on half the dynamic duo that was the Mars cricketers. Darryl, if you'd have won the toss, would you have gone to bat first or not?
Yes.
Okay, why?
I would have done. I wouldn't have wanted to bowl with a damp ball. I'm hoping that it might just dry out for me to bowl with a drier ball. I think the outfield will still be lightning quick. I think with the dewish on top of the surface, I think it will race away as it did.
Right then, so we'll let Kieran commentate on the first over. Kieran.
Yep, and Oxford away straight away, and Woods is spot on with the outfield pace, because that was a little flick off the hip, and it's flown to the boundary for 4 off the very first ball. Amin Rafiq opening the bowling for Horspath, and you're right, Darryl. The outfield dampness will possibly get into the ball, and that's very much something to think about. But certainly that first shot from George Tate there, that flew away, didn't it? Straight away.
It did.
In fact, it was Manan Palmer, of course.
I wasn't going to correct you, because I'm not that sort of commentator.
I wasn't looking, to be honest. I just guessed.
As you say, that has absolutely raced away for a couple. That's nearly gone for 4. There was a real chase for the square leg fielder there.
Decent crowd still in. Not perhaps as many as there might have been had we started on time, because it really did hammer down for a couple of hours. And I think that some supporters probably thought better of it and have decided to go home. So if they have, you can potentially be watching this. And 2 coloured kits. The Horspath kit quite similar to the Tame kit from this morning. as Amin Rafiq comes into bowl to Palmer, and Palmer goes back, and a bit of bounce there actually, and it just sort of popped up, and Palmer onto the back foot and just plays it quite watchfully. In comes Rafiq again, and Manan Palmer again onto the back foot and plays it into the offside, into the covers, picked up, and there's no run. And that's the end of the first over, and we're 8-6. I can't see this. My eyesight's not very good. 6 without loss. I'm going to get some more new glasses in the winter, I think. So
no, just get Wes to sit alongside you, mate, and he'll tell you what's going on.
A couple of days ago, I was commentating on a game for Oxford City, and I said what a fantastic goal had been scored. And then my co-commentator said actually he was substituted at half-time. So I have been known to get the occasional thing wrong with my eyesight. It was night time as well.
I suggest he gets lenses for those glasses.
Just a pair of binoculars.
Another former Oxfordshire Pathway cricketer, Tyrone Isles, to open the bowling from the Deer Park end. Interested to see how Tyrone bowls, Darryl, because when he played a good few years ago now, he was slightly above medium but below fast, wasn't he? He was quite a skiddy bowler.
Yeah, I'd say skiddy quick again. I like my little phrase there, skiddy quick. Good lad, Tyrone.
Another one I've played with. And I'll probably go with skiddy quick as well. It was in from the park end, short of a length, and punched off the back foot. A beautiful shot from George Tate. Will come back for the second. So Tate's off the mark first ball, and the keeper gets in his way a bit there.
Lightning quick between the wickets, George. Absolutely lightning quick.
So what's George's averages in terms with the bat? Do you think, Wes, is he a good opening batsman?
I haven't seen him open before. I know he's obviously a very capable batter. He was in again now. Short and attempted pull from Tate. Wide given down the leg side. Good diving stop from the Horspath keeper. Yeah, I know George is more of an off spinner. Really, I think that was more of his strength. Certainly when he was playing at Banbury and when I've played against him. But certainly can hold a bat. He's no mug with a bat. Just trying to get his stats up here. 399 runs for the season. 35 runs in this competition. As Eels in once more from the park end. Short again and levered through the leg side by George Tate. That's his first boundary. And Oxford move into double figures. They're on 13. And Tate himself moves on to 6.
Not too many watching at the moment, but if you are watching on the live stream and you want to drop a comment in to the live chat, please do so, and we will try and shout you out. The first of which, Sally Gardner-Morrison, go on Oxford. So we have got in the game this morning, we only had one person talking to us. We had a lot watching, but just Sam King talking to us, and no doubt Sam will be watching again, and we'll get lots of messages about how Sri Lanka are getting on as Isles comes in and bowls, and this time George Tate leaves alone outside the off stump, and that's the not the end of the over.
The live scorecard
it's
in front of you,
very confusing. Very confusing.
Updating live this time.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's handy.
People think that you got off it. Right, just go through it again. Are we live now then, chaps?
We are live, yes.
Okay,
100%.
good.
The
Right.
legend that is T-Jazz Anand has just come on to the live chat as well. Oh, Sam King has
Sam
as
King's
well.
back.
Best
Hello,
bowling
Sam.
action in the world.
We love
T-Jazz.
T-Jazz's bowling action. Charlie Turner's going to get 50. Why aren't you playing in this game, Ted? You should be in this game with your unorthodox batting and your bowling. That would be brilliant to see, wouldn't it?
Well, he used to do well when he used to close his eyes, didn't he, and just swing from the hip.
Close his eyes.
No, he's not literally. Sorry, Ted.
Tiaz.
In comes Isles bowling to Tate. Tate, a big
Oh,
shot
look
there.
at
That's just been dispatched. And is that one bounce 4? Yes, it's 1 bounce and 4 over wide long on. And Tate clearly not wanting to hang about here, Darryl.
I wanted to say Tate feet. That's Tate feet.
Don't start singing. We've only got 12 viewers at the moment. So.
They've just gone down to 8.
So Tyrone Isles again. Last ball of the over. I can confirm that this time. Big appeal for LBW, but not given. Colin Mussett, the umpire, just walks away. And no run. End of the second over. 17 without loss.
Loss after 2.
George Tate on 10, Manon Palmer on 6. And you're right, it's all updating live now, so I should have no more mistakes. I do apologise. Sally Gardner-Morrison said so I asked whether we thought supporters had left, given up the ghost. And Sally said, yes, I was there, but I just left because it was raining. So that's probably why the crowd's a bit smaller than it might have been.
Very sensible.
Well, let's hope they've gone home and they can actually still, they'll find out, I assume, if they do check that there is play going on. You're more than welcome to stick with us through and till the end, and hopefully there will not be any more rain and we get a result in this second game.
Of course, Kieran used to be an umpire, and he never used to be able to count to 6 then.
Do you know what? I've heard that phrase so many times. Kieran used to be. Okay. Isn't it? I think we should get a T-shirt printed and call him not K-Dog anymore, but we could call him Kieran used to be, I think. Don't you think? He used to be a snooker umpire as well.
Referee.
Well, you know what I mean. Seriously.
Justin Clark, the new bowler from the Dibley end, right arm over into Palmer and short ball left alone, given wide. Well, we've seen a lot of wides today. We're getting on for 30 plus today, but takes the total on to 18.
So Darren and I went off to the Pathway Awards for the back end of the previous game. It turned into a decent finish in the end, didn't it?
It did.
It was.
Exciting stuff, right really down to the last 2 overs, I think so.
Clark running in once more. Bowls to Palmer, punches this off the back foot out to point. No run, well fielded. Yes, very good game. Probably a lot closer than it perhaps should have been after Johnny Cornwall's 89, I think it was, striking at around 250. I think 7 4s and 5 6s in the end. Quite a sensational knock to give Henley an excellent start, and Tame picked up a few wickets in the middle overs. Clark right arm over, bowls and hits on the pad is Palmer. That one was just shaping down the leg side.
Do love an LBW appeal from mid-wicket, Darryl, don't you?
Always good. I remember the actual captain of Oxford when he played for the under-17s in his first year, appealing from third man. And I had a word with him. I said, don't think you could really find out that might have been out from third man. And his reply was, I can still appeal.
Which is
good
correct.
answer.
Correct answer.
Here comes Clark once more. Bowls to Palmer, who drives back down the ground. But doesn't get all of it at all, and ball dribbles out to the fielder at mid-on. No run.
I think the batter, that previous ball would have been a bit grieved being given out LBW, as he's at least 2 foot out of his crease. And he also had a stride into the delivery. So, that would have been quite an interesting decision.
Mist and cloud hugging the hills away to the opposite side of the ground from our commentary position. Shows how low the clouds are, because it's probably raining in those forest trees over there, with the cloud hugging the tops of the trees over there. It's not been a particularly pleasant day, and to be fair, we've had some glorious days at Wormsley and at Banbury in the finals day over the last few years, and this is probably the first one in probably 6 or 7 years where it's not been particularly nice cricket weather. So we've been pretty blessed over the years, haven't we?
We certainly have.
Clark in bowls to Palmer. Off the back foot again, looks for a single, but Clark's quick on it, keeper 2. And another dot ball. A decent start this from Justin Clark. 1 run coming off his first 5 balls. Plenty of chat out there amongst the Horspath fielders.
Feel like something's going to happen this delivery, Wes.
Yeah. Palmer's been trying to get it away. He's trying that punch down the ground. He's trying to puff the back foot out towards point and behind square on the offside, but we'll see what happens now as Clark past the umpire now, bowls to Palmer, goes for the drive, finds cover. They will come through for a quick single shot this time. The umpire almost gets peppered there by the Horspath fielder, but they do manage to scrape through for a single. So 2 runs off Clark's first over. Oxford move to 19.
Economic overs of the day. Justin Clark, 19 without loss.
So shall we try the score predictions then at this very early stage of the game? So it's a real gamble there. So we'll start off with, it is a bit early on, but we'll go for a challenge. So first of all, I think we should ask Darryl what he thinks a par score would be on this ground in the short...
15 overs as well.
15 overs. What do you reckon then, Darryl?
15 overs.
A par.
I think if they got 140,
Ooh, 140, okay, yeah.
would be a good score.
And what's that sort of over rate, do you think? There's 15 overs then. You could do the
Just
maths
under
that quick.
10s, isn't it?
Just under 10.
I'm just trying to think because I've seen the 100. It's essentially 16.4
Okay,
regular
right,
overs,
yeah.
and a decent score in that. Kieran's already given me a look. I say a decent score in that is around sort of 140, 150. So you're probably looking, I'd say, around that sort of mark.
Well, we can go from left to right then when they sort of that. So, Bill, what do you reckon the score's going to be? 140, 150 to par. Hang on, just wait till this delivery go through.
Eels continuing from the park end. Bowls a foolish ball to Palmer. Goes for a swing outside the off stump, but can't connect with that one.
Let's see what Bill thinks. What do you think, Bill, as a score?
135.
135 from Bill. Kieran, do you want to hazard a guess?
What did Darryl go for?
He hasn't done it yet.
What did you go for?
But he said par 140, 150. Ball coming in, hang on.
Isles into Palmer again, beaten off the back foot. Good pace from Tyrone Isles. Again, that's skiddy quick, as we're calling him.
I'll go for 145. There you go. All right. Oh no, 143. Yep.
Well, I won this morning, didn't I? So I'm going to go for 131.
That's Kieran. Darryl.
I'm going to go with my par score of 140.
Okay.
Isles into Palmer, slightly shorter this time, and comes down the track in a huge swing from Palmer, looking to send that one back to Oxford. But again, doesn't make connection. Good stuff from Tyrone Isles.
So we've got Bill 135, me 143, Kieran's gone for 131, Darryl's 140. Come on, Wes, what are you going to do?
Somewhere in the middle, isn't it?
Good, you've got to be somewhere in the middle, or even
Go
go for
high,
a bowl.
go high, go high.
I want to go 150 plus, but it's not looking that way so far. Isles into Palmer, dabs this one back down to third, gets off strike, gets that single that he was looking for. Score moves on to 20, Palmer on to 8. I mean, given the first game, it was going at almost 10s in that game, but things looking slightly different, change of conditions. I'm thinking a little bit, slower run rate than I'm going 138.
138, okay, so there we go. That's quite a good spread, I think, so we'll be wrong at 167 or something like that. What we said.
So anything below 131.
Tate cuts this one out into the offside. They'll come through for one. They're quick between the wickets, these two. Not going to get a second, though. Good throw in from a fielder out there, and I was going to say that's the end of the over, but there's one ball to come.
Come on, Wes.
Good over this from Isles, just the 2 runs coming off it so far.
It just, as a coach, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, we've flashed at 3 balls and got no runs, whereas deflection on here at the moment, bat on ball, would be more productive. Isles is coming in past the umpire, bowls, it's short, it's down leg side, and it is given as a wide.
So anything below 131 and I win again, so that's good. Come on, 131. Not that I'm competitive at all.
At all.
Thanks for your comments, everybody that's commenting. If you are watching, please do put a comment in the box. We'll bring you ball-by-ball commentary of this game.
Isles in to Palmer. Again, goes for a huge swing and misses, but so does the keeper this time, and they will come through for a bye.
That wasn't far away from the helmet there, Wes, as well, behind the wicket keeper, so that would have been 5 penalty runs. That would have confused Colin, wouldn't it?
No, I've sussed that one, gentlemen. I'm on top of that. I have been paying attention,
End of the 4th over then. Oxford 23 for no wicket. Tate on 11. Palmer on 7 off 17 balls though. Palmer really struggled these last couple of overs.
4 overs gone, 23 without loss.
Well, they're not losing wickets in the power play, are they, Wes? So the power play, remind me, is going to end. That's netting now, he says, as the referee, or the umpire rather, does the old windmill thing around the ground. So what with the windmill stuff and the wides, they've had a good exercise today, haven't they, to the umpire? So they'll be fit when they go home and knackered too.
They don't need those Pilates classes,
No.
do they?
Got the wind right in our teeth now.
Change of bowling. It's Charlie Turner. Oh, Josh Richardson, sorry. I thought he said Charlie. I was lip reading Daryl, because of the win. So Josh Richardson coming on to bowl. Leg spinner, another player from the pathway. Lots of players from the pathway, actually.
How many players on show
today
today have you two coached, do you reckon?
Far too many.
Let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a quick look.
It's quite a lot.
Well, Daryl's coach, I've just been there.
It's quite interesting. Amin Rafiq, the Horspath captain today, actually took 2 hat-tricks for the under-17s as it was then, and scored a lot of runs at batting at 8. Very good position to bat. Sorry, I missed a bit of action there. Josh Richardson into the attack, hit down to long on by Manon Palmer for just the single.
So the answer, Wes, is just 2 from this morning, but from this afternoon, I reckon it's somewhere around 13.
Most of them.
Yeah. As I say, Daryl coaches, I just stand there looking beautiful.
And they still haven't forgiven us.
Having said that, that is something which Kieran finds very difficult to do.
It went quiet then, Colin.
I was waiting for a comeback. Wes.
Here's Richardson into Tate, pushes off the back foot out into the covers. Dot ball though.
Yeah, good shot that. But I was just looking at Richardson's bowling. A little bit of zip in the delivery there, wasn't there? A bit of pace.
A very long run up for a spinner, it seems, and he is in again. Tosses this one up. Tate smashes this one back down the ground. It will just be a single. Long on is there. Throws back into the bowler's end. Score moves to 25 for no wicket.
Hate to say this, but I reckon Kieran 131 might be very good.
Early days. Here's Richardson in once more from the Dibley end. Ball slightly shorter to Palmer. And from this angle, it looks like he's bowled him, but he hasn't. So one of the stumps just looks pegged back a little bit. But
Question from Sally asking when the 2023 recap is going to come out on the channel. Honest answer, Sally, I don't know, but I'm sure we will try and find out before the end of the day. Nick Pinnell will tell us that, no doubt. We will find out for you if we can.
Top ball there is Palmer is hit on the pads.
But while we're on the subject of YouTube channels, we will just give a bit of a shameless plug between balls for a new sports channel which is launching this Thursday. Live at 8 o'clock every Thursday. It's Ox Sports Unleashed. As Josh Richardson comes into bowl to Palmer. Palmer goes on the back foot and plays a nice little shot through point. I was going to say just a single because Palmer slipped, but then there was also a misfield as well, so it allowed Palmer to come through for the second run. So yeah, Ox Sports Unleashed is a new sports channel which is aiming to bring grassroots sports coverage back to Oxfordshire. We're aware that a number of sports aren't covered anymore, essentially, with the sad, not demise, but the sad situation with local media. So the aim of Ox Sports Unleashed is to bring some sports coverage back to the county, a weekly show. It will bringing you all the non-league football, grassroots sport, any sport can be covered. Anything that is going on in Oxfordshire, we will look to cover if we get the support and we get some details sent through. So that's every Thursday, 8 o'clock, Ox Sports Unleashed. Just search for Ox Sports Unleashed on YouTube and please subscribe to the channel, and we will try and bring some really good sports coverage to you during the winter, and then hopefully it will be a success and we'll look to have this as a regular weekly show throughout the winter and the summer. And please do subscribe to that channel if you can.
I'll just add to that, K-Dog, if I may. If you want us to advertise or feature your sport.
Jahar Mohammed, the new bowler from the park end. Tate, cuts his one out to backward point, no run.
Yeah, feature your sport, then please get in contact with us at oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. That's oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com.
Mohammed in once more. Right arm, seam by looks fingers, and pulled away by Tate. Just lands on the bounce to the fielder at mid-wicket. Another dot ball.
I think Daryl mentioned it earlier. I think that these two players at the moment, they're almost trying to overhit the ball, aren't they? They're trying to hit it too hard, and I think using the pace of the ball, actually, even though these are spinners, would be the better way at the moment. That looks pretty close, and it's given LBW. So George Tate goes, hit him on the back pad, I think, there. So that's the first wicket to fall, and it's George Tate, the captain, LBW.
Certainly
12.
Certainly looked pretty close from here. I know we're obviously not at the best angle, but good celebration from Jahar Mohammed. He enjoyed that one.
Yep, that's the skipper going, and yeah, didn't really get going, did he? As I said, just trying to possibly overhit the ball a little bit, but it's not easy conditions out there, Darryl, and it's not going to be easy throughout the day. When Horspath are batting later, it is going to get darker as well, and it's going to be really tough.
I think it is going to be tough. I'm just thinking about this, you know, setting today a 15-over game is not that easy to know what a good score actually is. So there is that little bit of pressure of knowing what to do. Now, I know this young man coming in, he hits a long ball, left-hander, so we'll see what actually happens in the next few minutes. The score could go up.
Another one I've played with. I've played a 2-day game with him. And
Proper bat, isn't he?
I remember him playing for, I think he played for Sunningwell a few years ago, and yeah, we played Sunningwell in a friendly, and he absolutely levered it. I think he got a turn off, probably like 40, 50 balls.
Yeah, the bowling probably wasn't great that day. Left-handed bat, though.
Turning the arm over.
Proper bat. First left-hander we've seen today?
Second. Henley had one.
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they? You're right.
Good start, though, from Jahan Mohammed. 1 wicket, no runs off his first 3 balls. He's in once again from the park into Winfrey, left alone outside the off stump. Goes through to the keeper, standing up to the stumps.
That's a very rare sight, Don Winfrey leaving a ball, because he will, as Darryl said, if he connects to the ball, he really does hit the ball long way. We saw a few clear the boundary earlier. We could certainly see that again, but...
inside edge onto pad this time from Winfrey, and there we go. He's trying to free those arms already. Just second ball face. Right, here we go. No messing around. And as a result of seeing that shot, third he's coming up inside the circle and they're putting a man out at cow corner. So good idea from Jahan Mohammed after just 2 balls, seeing Winfrey free the arms. As he's in once more, bowls to Winfrey, and there we go. Chip back down the ground, and that's more than a chip. So I thought that went a bit straighter than it did. Long off comes around as the fielding. Winfrey off the mark, 3rd ball, scoring to 29. Palmer still there, though. He's faced 21 balls, 11 runs. That's the end of the 6th over.
Different game. I mean, it is actually literally a different game, but also in terms of the cricketing, it's very different from that last innings we saw where they got on top of the bowls very, very early.
Yeah, I think you're right, Colin. I think although the outfield's not really slowed up, I do say that when pitches are under covers, and they were under sheets, they weren't under sort of roll-on covers, that's going to sweat under there, and that's going to make it harder. And I think we've seen that so far. Not really able to time the ball yet. As we've said, we think possibly trying to overhit a little bit maybe, but still early. We've still got 9 overs, so you know, if they can start picking up the 8-9 over, your 140 par score would still be on, Woodsy. So just need to get through this tricky little spell first. And in comes Richardson for his 2nd over too. That's a big shout and a big cry of catch, and it's going to be caught.
Oh, well done.
In the deep.
And that's what we were saying about Don Winfrey trying to free those arms. Just didn't get hold of that one, and a simple enough catch for the man at long off. And Oxford lose their 2nd wicket. They're 28 for 2.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? They've started quite slowly. Don Winfrey really, I won't say only plays in one way, because that would be harsh on the young man, but he looks to go from ball 1, and he tried to hit that one out of the ground, just didn't quite get hold of it, didn't quite get to the timing of the ball there. And good catch actually running in, because you have to steady yourself, and yeah, a decent catch. But Winfrey goes for 1, and Oxford are 28 for 2.
It was a good catch, because he actually jumped in the end, and actually
taking
the ball mid-air is not that easy, I have to say. So I think he did a good job in the end there.
New batsman is Jack Wilkins.
I don't know who does what, but barbecue's going to stop at 5. Are you able to do it?
Better go.
Okay.
New batter is Jack Wilkins. 42 runs in this competition, 213 across the season.
And if you think about coming back to the ground, we've just been told the barbecue stops at 5, okay? So you're looking to come back and get your tea,
Got half an hour.
You got half an hour to get back here before the burger.
A highly rated barbecue.
It
I
is
have to
really
say.
good.
Very good.
Yeah.
I've tried one of everything
Have
today.
you really?
Yeah.
Shock horror.
Yeah.
Inside edge onto pad this time from Wilkins off the mark first ball. So there's a group of supporters down at the far end, at the park end.
Horspath always well supported. What do you think then, Daryl? 2 wickets down early with it only being a 15 over game. It's tough, isn't it?
I think that's played on their mind as Richardson comes in past the umpire, bowls. That's down leg side, but I think there's a little tickle there, or off the pad. I'm not sure. Probably off the pad there. I was just waiting for the umpire's signal. It was actually a wide. It was very wide because it did feel like it had come off something there. So, another wide to the tally. But yeah, you're right. I think you're right, actually, with the sweating under the covers as Richardson comes in again to Wilkins. Nice little shot down the ground to long off for an easy jaunted single, really.
Did you record that, Colin? Daryl just said I was right about something.
Well, he said it
Is it on the
twice.
tape?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't have it recorded, but he did say it twice. He said, "You're right," and then he paused and he said, "You're right."
Well, that might have been a drop catch
That
there.
was a drop catch.
So
Whereas I
it
think
seems
you're right.
Definite noise from a bat or glove of Palmer.
It's one of those things, you know, you look at those things and pitches can sweat, as we see Josh come in again to bowl. And that's a good, obviously turned a little bit there. A play and a miss then from Manon, who's really struggled a little bit to gain any momentum in his innings.
At this point, would he just try and slog if it either hit out or get out at this point? Richardson bowls to Palmer again, looks to clip this down the leg side. It's come off something, not given a wide by the umpire, and that's a pretty good over from Josh Richardson. Just the 2 runs and the 2 extras coming off it. Oxford 32 for 2 after 7 overs.
The barbecue closes at 5.
And I'm just seeing on the score summary bit of play cricket that at their current rate, Oxford are only going to manage a score of 69. Up that to 6 and over, run a ball, they get to 80, but they're not even making 100 at this stage.
So I still win then because I had the lowest of the scores. So there you go.
Oh, blimey, honestly.
It's
Tell you what, if he wins
all
both of
about me.
them, we're not going to hear the last of this, aren't we? So he's still got to be driven home, though, isn't he? If he insults you anymore, he's walking, isn't he?
Correct.
Jahan Mohammed continues from the park end, cut away by Wilkins, but straight to the fielder at backward point. No run, excellent stuff from the Horspath attack so far. Really not giving anything away. I think we've just had, 2 wides? Possibly 3.
I mean, in the dark, it's going to be... Sorry.
Mohammed into Wilkins, punches us out into the covers. A good diving stop by the man there. Think about a second, but quick on it. Just be the one. 33 for 2.
We said on commentary that you probably get a very false impression watching it on the live stream of exactly how dark and overcast it is here.
Mohammed, right arm over, bowls to Palmer. Cuts this one away. One-handed picker. Oh, not quite by the fielder at point. They think about it a second. Palmer's making his way down, but fielder out there is quick onto it again. 34 for 2 now.
So I think as it gets darker, I assume it's going to get pretty difficult for both the batters and the bowlers, isn't it? I think to a low score is going to be on.
Mohammed into Wilkins again, punches out through the covers. One-handed pickup. Oh, not the best of throws though. Think about going for a second. It's not on. Fine legs, quick onto it.
Much prefer to be batting in
Would you?
this light than fielding.
Yeah, okay. I suppose the bowling is not super fast, is it? But so it's still quick enough.
Mohammed bowls to Palmer again, cuts this off the back foot, out into the offside. Another run to the total. Palmer moves on to 13, sorry. Oxford 36 for 2.
Bowling to their fields really well here at the moment, Horspath.
Mohammed in once more, slightly shorter and hipped on the pads is Wilkins. The ball trickles out into the short third region. Go through for
A run.
a run, apparently. Yeah, no signal from the umpire as he's tying his shoelaces at the end of the over. Oxford 37 for 2 after 8.
I think he's tying them together.
Yeah.
I did talk to the Horspath captain between when it was actually pouring down with rain, and he felt that he had a good side out today. He felt that if they executed their skills well, they would be well in this game. And so far, I have to say, they've executed their skills very, very well. Josh Richardson is in again for his third over, I think, coming in. That's bowled Jack Wilkins, who came down the track, tried to hit it to oblivion and perished.
Yeah, Wilkins, as you say, danced down the track, looking to hit that into the hills, into Ibston, and completely missed it. Middle stump pegged back, and Oxford lose their third wicket. They're 37 for 3 in the 9th over.
I like that because you knew where it was going.
Well, that's because it's the Dibley end, and that's where Ibston is. It's not. That wasn't that clever, Darryl.
Well, I thought it was clever for Wes.
No.
True.
Wes is very clever.
Harvey Jupp, the new batter, and he's got a lot of work to do because Oxford are behind the 8 ball, I'd say, at the moment. You're quite right, Wes, about Josh Richardson. He does seem to come in like he's a seaman. The length of his run, I think that's lengthened since we had him with us, Darryl. Perhaps it allows him to get through the real rip into the ball. But that was a good delivery. It flattened the stump, didn't it? So decent pace for a spinner as well.
Decent. Yeah, you're right. I think he has lengthened that run up, and he was struggling a bit, wasn't he, at the time, to actually get through his action. And perhaps that does help, that extra couple of paces through the run up.
It's almost the run up of a full-on seamer, isn't it, from where he's coming from? So Harvey Jupp, the new batter, on strike.
Umpire just jogging round there.
And Richardson coming in to the left-handed Jupp, and Jupp into the covers for a single. Did you like that, Darryl? I spotted that he was a left-hander. That was good, wasn't it?
Very well done.
Because my eyesight's not great, and I spotted it. The pyrotechnics man's come back with one burger.
He's got a burger.
That's wrong. One burger, Bill. There's 5 of us here, mate. Where are you going on? Did you do that over the pyrotechnics?
In comes Richardson bowling to Palmer, and Palmer goes back and plays into the deep, and the long on fielder comes in and collects, and Palmer moves to 14. Dare I say a fairly slow 14, a sedate 14, but it must be tougher to bat on than this morning, I would say, as Richardson comes in again to Jupp, and Jupp tries a reverse sweep but misses, and there's no run.
See, that puts cricket in a nutshell for me. If he'd have hit that and had gone through the gap, 4 runs, we say good shot. He's missed it, we say, what's he doing?
Well, you did. I didn't.
I just did.
In comes Richardson again to Jupp. Jupp this time has a big swing at it, and it hardly gets outside the ring, actually. It sort of went very aerial, but between 2 fielders, it just trickled outside the ring on the bounce, and it's just a single to Harvey Jupp. I still think, Darryl, that for all the good bowling that's been going on, is they are trying to hit the ball too hard at the moment. They're not using the pace that's on the ball and timing. It's just trying to overhit slightly at the moment.
Totally agree with you, K-Dog. As Richardson comes in again, bowls, and that's another swing from Manon out to deep mid-wicket. It's only going to be for a single. There's no boundaries. They need boundaries, guys.
Just trying to scroll back on the live score to see when the last boundary actually was. If I could even find it. So like it was in the 2nd over.
15 overs to side.
Penultimate ball of the 2nd over. So gone. What's that? 6 overs pretty much without a boundary. Palmer's still there. He's 15 off 28, and surely he needs to just free the shackles a little bit. There's still batting to come for Oxford, but you can't just stick around and score at a strike rate of 50 or 60. You've got to let go as Mohammed in, cut away by Palmer into the offside. Teammate shouting 2 from the sidelines, but it can only be 1. Really good fielding out there in the deep. Quick onto the ball, quick throw in.
And Wes, even if they go at 10s now, that only just reaches 100. So I think we were all well out, I think, with our guess this time.
What do we know about cricket?
What do we know? Play cricket's at 8 and over, gets them to 89, and we're obviously a long way away from that at the moment. It's like changing the field for the left-handed Harvey Jupp. Mohammed in, right arm over the wicket from the park end, slightly slower ball, driven out into the deep on the offside. They're shouting 2 again. They will come back for 2 this time. Slightly wide of the fielder out there at long off. Oxford move to 44 for free.
They've got to take some risks now, but they've got to shuttle behind
They have to, yeah.
between the wickets and...
Five and a bit overs left now. They have to go. Is it Mohammed up to this wicket now? Bowls and shorter ball, and it's bowled in. Leg stump out the ground. And Oxford lose their 4th wicket. Excellent stuff from Jahan Mohammed. That's his 2nd wicket. He now got 2 for 9 into his 3rd over. And Oxford in a bit of trouble here at Wormsley. 44 for 4.
I go a bit further than that. Wesn's in a lot of trouble at the moment because every player's tried to swing from the hip, and I don't want to suggest that it's the wrong approach. But from what we saw this morning with both Tame and Henley, yes, there were some big shots and it was a slightly easier conditions. The pitch was drier, but they used the pace of the ball and used the timing off the bat to get a lot of runs. Yes, there were a fair few boundaries as well. Look, at the end of the day, it is definitely a different conditions now, isn't it? The conditions have noticeably changed in this second match.
I'm probably going to, being a batters union, I'm probably going to stick up for the batters a little bit. I think Horspath have bowled incredibly well, and they have bowled very, very well to their fields. If you think Palmer's actually hit some nice shots out to deep point just for a single, whereas they were racing away for 4s this morning. So
good field set.
Good field set.
Yep.
I think the captaincy's been good. He's marshalled his troops. He's kept these 2 bowlers on because they're doing a job. And he's got to bowl them through without a doubt. And I think that's the end of Josh Richardson as he's bowled his 3 overs. And this is
2 for 12, decent
12, that. Yeah, and 2 for 9 for Mohammed at the moment, and he'll complete his 3rd over during this. So they're doing an amazing job for Horspath at the moment. So let's give a bit of credit, I think, to the fielding side, because I think they've bowled incredibly well.
New batter Dylan Swanepoel, very talented player. Very, very nice chap as well, as Mohammed comes in and bowls to Swanepoel, and Swanepoel onto the back foot, plays it into the covers, but again, just a single. Everywhere Oxford are hitting the ball, there seems to be a Horspath fielder today, which, as you say, Darryl, is testament to Amin Rafiq's field sets, perhaps.
There's been a lot of shots off the back foot as well. It seems like every time that Mohammed's bowled, every time there's a cut or a push off the back foot into that offside where there is that one fielder out in the deep, and you've got the 2 in close at point and 3rd as a dead ball signalled. Oh, maybe something in his eye or something. Not ready for that one, so how do we have to go again? Dylan Swanepoel, 261 runs in the league this season, 27, sorry, not 49, it's bowling runs. 27 runs in 2 games in the Hartwell Cup this season. Jahan Mohammed in once more from the park end, and Palmer trying to flick that away into the leg side. Gets wrapped on the pad. Ball trickles back to the bowler. Another dot ball. The final ball coming up for Jahan Mohammed. Figures of 2 for 10 so far.
And Darryl, you probably know Jahan Mohammed as well as I do when I umpired him. He's a player that really does go under the radar. He's a really good bowler. He says that.
Fantastic commentator's curse.
He's brilliant. A really good bowler.
That wasn't wide, guys.
That wasn't wide. But he's a really good bowler, and he often goes under the radar, possibly slightly underrated, because he's always in the wickets. And he's a decent batter as well. So he's a good player to have in any club, really.
He's one of those cricketers that you know what you're going to get, and I think he plays to his abilities. And I agree with you. God, this is the 3rd time I've agreed with Kieran. This is just ridiculous. He's just a good club cricketer, and he'll give you 100%. He'll run through a brick wall for you if you asked him to. He's done a really good job for Horspath today, that's for sure. But he would be in my side every day of the week.
3 overs, 2 for 11. Mohammed's final figures. The new bowler is the skipper, Amin Rafiq. Another pathway cricketer. He was in the pathway for us way back at the start, wasn't he? The very first year.
Along with my son?
Yeah, he's getting on a bit then. He must be getting on towards mid-30s.
32.
I was going to say. I did notice a few grey hairs, actually, when you were talking to him earlier.
I mentioned it. I mentioned it to him.
We will mention it to him again when we have a chat to him later, but a useful bowler. He's changed himself from a seamer to a spinner over recent years. I mean, Rafiq comes into bowl, and Swanepoel Again, though, just a single. Just 5 overs to go.
They need boundaries. They need boundaries. It's as simple as that.
In comes Rafiq to Palmer. Palmer tries to go for a boundary. Is it going to go this time? Looks like it will do. Oh no, really good work in the deep, actually. Fantastic bit of field. He wasn't going to catch it, so he opted to parry it back into play. And the field of air turn a 4 into a 2. Really good bit of fielding again.
Super stuff, that. Really good fielding. Backing your bowlers.
In comes Rafiq again. Bowling to Palmer, and this time he'll leave it because it's going to be a wide. 49.
50 up.
50 up for 4. And Rafiq again to bowl to Palmer, and Palmer drives. And it's going to be caught in the deep, is it? Is it he caught it, or
I think
has he
he's
put it
parried
down?
it for 6.
He has.
No, parried it for 4.
I thought that was all day long going to be a catch there. It looked like it was straight in, but as you say, he's parried it over the line for a boundary. The first boundary since the second over.
Second over. Nine overs and 4 balls since the last boundary. As Rafiq is in once more from the Dibley, and a sweep attempted by Palmer. Missed it altogether, and the ball's actually stuck in the keeper's pads there.
I'm assuming that must have hit something, because that looked like it was down the leg side again to me.
Rafiq in past the umpire now, bowls right arm off spin. Slightly dragged down there by Rafiq. Palmer punches it out into the covers. They come through for a single. Oxford move to 55 for 4. 1 ball left of the 11th over. And Palmer now 23 off 35, so up that strike rate a little bit, but maybe not quite enough. Rafiq, slight pause in the action there, driven out into the covers, and they will scamper through, rush through for a single. Clean pickup, but almost paused to decide which end to throw it there, did that fielder. But it's the end of the 11th over. Oxford are 56 for 4, Palmer 23, Swanepoel 3.
It will be a new bowler, of course, because Mohammed finished. Just trying to see who the new bowler is. As the wind picks up again. And the Oxford skipper George Tate has joined us.
Change of bowling from the Deer Park end. Mohammed Ahmed.
We're just going to be joined by George Tate, the Oxford captain. We're just trying to set up a film, George, because we want to record this as well for our new show.
Yeah, okay.
So if you just bear with us as we go through the action. New bowler here. I missed the bowler, sorry, Wes.
Is Mohammed Ahmed.
Oh, yeah.
4 wickets this comp for Horspath.
I think he was one of the pathway winners today, wasn't he, K-Dub?
Clipped out
Possibly.
into the onside by Palmer. They think about a second, can't get there though. Good fielding from Miles down here on the boundary. 58 for 4 now, Oxford. Yeah, run a ball from here will take them to 80. 8 and over from here, 87. So looking at under 100 at the moment. Ahmed in, round the wicket. And smacked back down the ground by Swanepoel. Finds the long on fielder out there in the deep, so just another single. Score moves to 59 for 4. Over the wicket now to Palmer from the park end. Bowls down the wicket comes Palmer. Works this one out into the covers. Not quite where he wanted to put that one, but another run to the total. Palmer to 25, Oxford to 60.
I like the pace of this bowler. Good pace.
I'm trying to figure out the the action from here. It looks like off spinners. That's chipped down the ground by Swanepoel, and fielder it long off, throws it back in. They will come back for the second though. Good running from Swanepoel and Palmer. Almost split the two down at the far end. Another couple to Swanepoel. Moves to runnable 5. 2 balls left, 1 ball left of the over, sorry.
We will bring you a quick chat with George in a moment. We're just waiting for our camera crew to get my best angle.
Coming into Sonneborn, hits him on the pad, and
What angle's that?
loud shout from cover, but absolute silence from everyone else on the Horspath field. But a dot ball to conclude the 12th over. 3 overs to go here. Oxford 62 for 4.
62 for 4. 12-3 to go. 18 balls. Roughly.
Even 2 a ball here, get them to 98. So still not quite getting into those 3 figures, even with a couple of boundaries and over. Will be Rafiq to bowl his 3rd and final over from the Dibley end. Palmer on strike, 25 not out. Here's Rafiq bowling, an attempted ramp from Palmer, gets off the toe end of the bat. The ball goes out into the covers. They're going to come back for the second. Good running, or is it? It is. Yes, Palmer gets there and lands on top of the keeper as well. Good running, but maybe not quite perfect execution.
So we have with us, if I can just bend my knee around the table, we'll just wait for the cameraman to say we're good to go. So this is for Ox Sports Unleashed as well. The Oxford captain, George Tate. George, we'll talk about this game and also talk about your season for Oxford as well. This game, the game this morning was very high scoring, but I think the pitch being under the covers for 2 or 3 hours has made it a lot trickier to bat this time around.
Yeah, I'd agree with that to an extent. There was definitely some in it for the bowlers early doors. Tyrone Eales and Jahan were getting it to nip about. But I think the bounce and pace is still pretty consistent. But there is a bit in it for everyone. There's a bit of spin. It does come onto the bat nicely. So if you pick your options well, it is high scoring. I just think that we haven't hit our straps as well as we could have done in terms of single options. We've sort of got bogged down on that, I think.
Yeah, Daryl mentioned good field sets as well for you, actually, because this morning quite a lot of those were going for 4, but Amin seems to have got the field set pretty well, and possibly a couple of you maybe overhitting a little bit rather than trying to caress it into the gaps.
Yeah, I think so. It's difficult in a shortened game, even of a T20, because you think you need to go even harder. But when you faced a few dots, sometimes the best thing to do is to accumulate. And I think we've neglected that option because it doesn't get you your 120s, your 130s in a 15 over match that would put you in a prime position. But when you're going at sort of 5 and over, you do need to have that single option to start to rebuild and put the momentum back on your side.
Chose to bat first, which is we understand the reasons why, probably a wet ball in the outfield, but I guess if you can get somewhere near 100, sort of 90 up 90, it's something to bowl at least, because 15 overs is a strange sort of number of overs to face, isn't it? You're used to T20.
Yeah, absolutely. My reasons for batting first were, firstly, pitch having deteriorated slightly. There looked like there was a little bit of wear on it, and the consensus was from the first game that it was spinning. And I thought if we're bowling last on that with our spin attack, that's a good thing. And also just being in a final, runs on the board, however many, is quite a key factor. So that was sort of my thing. And exactly what you said, wet ball, swollen ball is difficult for the bowlers to bowl with.
Yeah, absolutely. And whatever you get, they've got to chase ultimately. Just talking about Oxford's season as a whole. So Oxford started the season, had a tricky start, didn't you? You know, you were struggling down towards the bottom end, but you actually picked up really well during the season and eventually finished pretty comfortably in mid-table. And I guess that's a bit of a platform for Oxford to move on for next year, put that behind you and try and get yourselves back up the table at the right end and try and get back into that top flight.
Yeah, absolutely. We were suffering from last season at the start of the year, in the sense that, you know, we didn't win a single match, we got relegated, and I think it took us a while to find our feet again in those first 4 games. And then with the win against Buckingham in one of the final white ball games, that was a massive momentum shift for us. And then the red ball cricket, with the numbers that we can bowl of spin, numbers of overs we can bowl, that puts us in a good position. And we got ourselves up to 3rd during the middle of the game and middle of the season, and it was so tight in the league. I think having finished 7th, we were 20 points off 3rd and 20 points off 9th. So it was a very tight season, but we always felt we were safe from relegation, and in the middle of the season even pushing for promotion potentially. But you're absolutely right, going into next year we feel really good, and we'll have another year together as a side gelling, and we think we'll be in a really strong position starting next season.
Yeah, you've made a really good point there. It's, you hit the ground running if you've had a good season, and actually if you've had a poor season, which you had last year, and as you said, didn't win a game, it is very difficult to turn that momentum around, and it did take you a little while, but once you did, you picked up some good results, and hopefully for next year you can push towards that top half.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely the plan. We have a few players in mind that we want to sign, and we have better established roles within the squad already. So I think moving into next year, we will be in a really good spot to push for promotion.
Now, a little incident I want to talk to you about, George. You went viral this year. I think it's a good thing to talk about because it was a video that went on Twitter, and you did go viral, and it wasn't very often you see George Tate trending on Twitter, but talk me through the man-cad situation, George, where you were, I don't think you were backing up from what I saw personally. I thought it was a little bit harsh, but from your perspective, what did you think of that incident?
I mean, obviously I was out in terms of the strict rules of the game. I was marginally out my crease. It wasn't very much. It wasn't one of those where I was certainly a long way out of my crease looking to steal ground as such. You can maybe make the argument that any distance out of your ground is trying to steal ground, but that sort of started. The context required is that, you know, they got 2-10 and we were 20 for 4. So they thought they were a shoe-in to win the game, and me and Farhan Khan we were currently on a partnership of 140, needing 3.5 and over from then on, and it looked like we were going to cruise the game. And we had a warning from another bowler on the Buckingham side towards Farhan, who then made it a team warning. And I had previously been given out LBW off a no ball, so I think there was a lot of frustration building for the Buckingham side about me being at the crease and the way the game was going after they got our innings, after such a good start for them. And from my perspective, it seems a bit like it was a, what else can we do? So yeah, that was frustrating for me, but I'm really happy we won the game, and that incident didn't cost us the game.
And you trended, so that's always good, isn't it? If we ever see you trending again, George, hopefully it's when you've made your debut for England and scored 100. But thanks for talking to me, George. Good luck for the rest of the game. It's into the penultimate over. 70. Test my eyesight again. Thank you. My eyesight's terrible. 75. So if you can get another 15 or so, get a score around the 90 mark, and then get your bowlers in, you're still in this game. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, runs on the board, 96 and over, and if we can contain them in the power play, that's the only thing we'll have to do even better is take a bit more risk with our field sets, trying to bowl dot balls in the power play, and that may benefit us, that may benefit them, but it's a risk we have to take. So yeah,
good stuff. Thanks, George. That was George Tate, the captain of Oxford, one of our former Oxfordshire under-18 captains, one of our better captains while he's still here, and then when he walks away we can tell the truth. Yeah,
but just to make sure that while you're interviewing there, another wicket went down there, Kieran, in case your eyesight isn't that good. 5 wickets down now, and you look to be probably on for the score prediction. You predicted 131, so I'm not going to get anywhere near that now, are they?
No, we're well out of that one at the moment.
So he's going to have the bragging rights on predictions again, Daryl. So right, what's going on here now? And
I wouldn't say Kieran can have bragging rights when it'll be about 50 runs, 50 runs out.
So this is the last over in a truncated T20 T15 game as things stand, and Darryl did say the par for 15 was going to be about 140, 150. There's 75. It's going to be probably nearer.
How wrong was I?
How wrong
no, I don't. I'm going to say you weren't wrong, Darryl, because I think par score would have been around that. George has been very honest there, hasn't he? He said that actually Oxford have got themselves to blame really there. He said it's not really to do with the pitch. It's a good pitch, but they've just maybe taken some wrong options. So fair play to George. He's always been very honest, hasn't he? And that's a really good comment from George.
He spoke really well. He was our very first masked cricketer.
Clark in to bowl the final over. Attempted flick down the leg side by Palmer. The ball's racing away. Again, this outfielder was still pretty quick despite the rain we've had.
He stops it.
Sliding stop down by fine leg, but they will come through for free. I think that's the third free of the game. Score moves to 78 for 5 now Oxford. 5 balls remaining in this innings. Palmer moves to 32 from 41. Up to strike rate quite a bit now. Was hovering around 50. Now it's 78.
Yeah, and George made a really good point actually. If they can get to 90, that is still 6 and over. And if George can get his field set right and they can bowl while they've got some good spinners, it's still got to be got, hasn't it?
Still want those 3 figures if they can. Clark to Smith. Guys, this one down to third. They're thinking about a second. Smith wants it, but it's not there. Ball was already in the air by the time he turned and went.
I'm willing to have
for Oxford.
Willing to have a bet with you they won't get 3 figures.
They're not going to get 3 figures.
No,
You just said they're going to get 3 figures
nice
if they can.
They got 3 figures for them anyway.
4 sixes
even
will do
4
it.
sixes, yeah, 103.
I think from what we've seen, that is very optimistic. Look, I like this bowler's action now. Where he stops just there, right? He's little sort of jump.
Palmer smashes this one back down the ground. It will be 1. Smith's quick. He's coming back for the second throw. Goes to the keeper's end. Palmer struggling a little bit. The keeper can't pick it up cleanly. Good running from these two. 72, no, 81, sorry, the scoreboard at the far end. Just playing catch up a little bit. But Palmer moves to 34.
Watching his action, right, he just jumps at the final thing to give him sort of the final sort of whip over. It's interesting, isn't it? That must put a hell of a lot of pressure on his knees and his legs. So
seems a bit quicker than a few of the bowlers we've seen today. Justin Clark.
See it jump.
Short ball punched into the covers by Palmer. A safe single taken. 82 for 5. 2 balls remaining for Oxford.
Quick hello to Matthew Bowden. I like the way he says hello Kieran and the comms team, not Daryl and the comms team, which is good.
Thanks, Matt.
And hello to...
You spelled your name wrong there.
Let's see if I can read this one with my bad eyesight. Hello to Minaj Jalil. Come on, Horsepath. Horsepath are doing well. They've restricted Oxford.
Clark in from the Dibley end. A huge swing down the ground from Brendan Smith. I can't quite see where that's gone. Long off does the fielding there. We'll try and come back for the second. And a fumble from Clark. And they do come back for the second. Palmer makes his ground again. 83 now for Oxford. 83 for 5. 1 ball remaining in Oxford's innings. This Hartwell Cup Final here at Wormsley. And the mist just coming in over the trees at the far end. And the setting of the Chiltern Hills on the Buckinghamshire-Oxfordshire border. At the Pathway Awards earlier on, a few people playing this game won a few awards, but here's Clark for the last ball of the innings. It's full. Smith smashes this one out. Down 2, long on. They'll definitely come through for 1. They'll go through for the second, and it's a run out. So just the 1 run to finish Oxford's innings. They end on 84 for 6. Palmer run out to 35 off the final delivery. Smith 5 not out. As Oxford post 85 for 6. Kieran.
So there we go. That's the end of the Oxford innings. 84 for 6. Meaning that Horsepath will need 85 for victory in their 15 at a tick under 6 and over. We note there's a high number of concurrent viewers now, so please stay with us. That's the highest viewers we've had all day. There's a 10-minute break between innings, and then Horsepath will begin their run chase. And Colin, I'm not going to claim that I've won that one with my prediction of 131, but that is a pretty low score, and Horsepath will be favourites. But Oxford, if they can bowl anything like they're capable of, you never know, do you? Because it's one of those funny scores, isn't it? Low scores can often be quite tricky to chase.
I think so. I think it's one of these things where, what do? Do you actually play sensibly, save your wickets? Do you judge how things are going, or do you actually do a sort of a Bazball and have a go right from the start? I mean, it was kind of Bazball the first game, wasn't it, Darryl, where they first sort of went for it and decided to have a very high-scoring game. But from what you've both been saying as cricketers and coaches yourselves, these are very tricky conditions. The light is getting worse, not better. The wind has dropped. That's something there. We've already found out from George Tate that, yes, the wicket might have slid a bit. He wasn't making excuses, though, was he, really? It was something which he was very, very honest about. But that was an impressive set of bowling, I think. I think there are only, 2 or 3 wides, I believe, from this inning here. So accurate bowling, and really the bowlers just couldn't, the batters really just couldn't get themselves going. Right, we've got a little bit of a break then, so you'll be able to, again, just soak up the atmosphere. If you've got mates who decide that they were here and it wasn't going to happen for the second game, just get them onto them on Twitter tell them there is a game on here, a very exciting game on here, because there is a score of 85 to win this Hartwell Cup at the moment, and we will be back with you in about 4 or 5 minutes' time with commentary of the final innings of this T20 doubleheader here live from Wormsley. So welcome back then, and
Charlie Turner will face the first ball.
Oxford won the toss. They batted
86
first.
to win.
86 to win. He just heard on the PA system. Horspath need that, and this is the final innings of today's events. Shortened T20 game down to 15 overs, so Horspath needs 15 from 86 from 15 overs.
If they need 15,
Yeah,
then
no,
they
sorry
did
about
really
that,
well
yeah.
with the ball
It
there.
would be got the wrong way round. So umpire's just putting his hand in the air. I'm not sure what to. Oh, he's just making sure everybody's
Score is
okay.
ready.
Yeah. And I'll leave you in the hands of Wes Spearman to talk us through the first over.
Yeah, so the first time today, as mentioned on the PA, the bowling's been over from the Deer Park end. All other 3 times it's been from the Dibley end.
And away we
As we've got Charlie Turner and Chris Hofen, the batters for Horspath. As the first ball is tried to be smashed back into Oxfordshire by Charlie Turner, but it will come through for a single. So Turner off the mark, first ball. Horspath off the mark, first ball. And they're just trying to find out who the bowler is. Farhan Khan is the bowler. Just 2 wickets in the competition for him. 25 though for the season. Left arm around the wicket to Chris Hofen, who clips this one 3-minute wicket. Well, there's a huge mix. There's a horrible mix-up, and there will be a run out. Oxford have their first wicket. Hofen run out for naught after the second ball of the innings. He timed it pretty well, but it went straight to mid-wicket. Fielder didn't panic, threw it in straight to the keeper, took off the bails, and Hofen has to go for a duck. Horspath 1 for 1.
Hate to say this, but I saw Chris do that in an under-18 game. Hit it straight to mid-on, run. Non-striking batsman had none of it and was run out. And he's done the same there. He's hit it straight to mid-wicket, and there was no run there, really, was there?
I suppose poor judgment there, poor communication as well, I suppose, and also we think a little bit of scoreboard pressure maybe, that they wanted to try and hunt down that fairly low score, 15 over game, 86 to win, and they've got one at the moment, but they've also lost a wicket. Not possibly the best way to start. Who's come to the crease now then as the new batter?
It is Elliot Ruff is the new batter. Yeah, I can sort of understand what Hofen was trying to do, but it was absolutely low in there. Hit it straight to the fielder, run, and yeah, as Dale said, the non-strike having nothing off it. Elliot Ruff, 31 runs in 4 matches in the Hartwell Cup, 188 runs for the season, best of 94. And it will be Farhan Khan to continue from the park end, left arm round to, and it's off the edge, and that might have just dropped short of George Tate at first slip. Can't quite tell, but they will come through for a single. So Ruff off the mark first ball, but a chance from Farhan Khan, and I couldn't quite see whether that's carried to George Tate. He's got a bucket hat on a slip, which I absolutely rate. Khan in again to Turner, clips this one out into the onside. They might come through for 2 here. No, Palmer does a diving stop at a short fine leg. Another run to the total. Oxford Horspath, 3 for 1, chasing down 86.
If you look above you now, above our big parasol, you can see some blue sky
some
for
blue
the first time. This is a bit, far be it for me to say commentator's curse. We got mist around the trees as well. If you've got a sight up the hill of the trees here, we're looking to the west, your camera angle is. No, the east, sorry, got the right way round to deep into Buckinghamshire. So a little tiny bit of blue sky there.
Blue skies.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I knew I shouldn't have done that. He's caught Kieran's disease of karaoke.
29 people watching at the moment. Farhan Khan in again to Ruff. Police have one back down the pitch, and that's the end of a successful first over for Oxford, and a successful first over for Farhan Khan. 3 runs conceded and the run out of Chris Hofen. Horspath 3 for 1.
That will certainly go down if I keep singing.
Well, don't do that, because there's not enough to do on a Sunday afternoon sometimes at the best of times, so don't put them off.
So it's not karaoke then?
No, it's not karaoke. Kieran proved that earlier on this morning. Although he got a few compliments, I have to say. There's a few dogs in the background there going and singing along with him.
Well, he actually sings in tune.
Oh, okay,
Colin,
fine,
so
yeah.
That
Right.
helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does help.
Oh, he's got
Hang on.
my microphone off, so
Yeah, I did.
notice.
Yeah, I've got the power to shut you two up, mate. Yeah, first time in history. Anyway.
Please mute me if I go into song again.
Yeah,
Colin, please.
you won't have to ask me a second time.
It's quite interesting because every time you sing, it does go down three
Right,
times.
We're up to 30 now.
Don't do it.
34.
Just don't do it, okay?
If you
Maybe
want any renditions,
No.
any requests,
Give us your requests.
get them in now,
No.
quickly.
Right, back to the cricket. Wes
It's
brings
Dylan Swanepoel, another left armour for Oxford, bowling from the Dibley end. Got comment from Rossi Marner, come on the path. Got a lot of Horspath fans in the comments today.
There's lots of Horspath
Is that George Tate directing traffic with 72 on his back, is it? I
That's
think it is,
correct,
isn't it?
yeah, with a bucket hat on
Yeah, I
as
know,
well.
that's great, isn't it?
Here's Swanepoel then from the Dibley end, left arm over and quick delivery that's worked into the onside, out to mid-on. They will go through for a single. Turner moves on to 3. Oxford 4 for 1.
We were talking earlier about Dom Winfrey being somebody that can hit the ball out of the park. Charlie Turner, in the Hartwell Cup Final a couple of weeks ago, scored something like, I think it was 85 off around about 36 balls. And he just kept bumping the ball over the pavilion at Didcot for 6. He is somebody that when he puts bat to ball, the ball goes a long, long way.
Wide down the leg side for Swanepoel. Another run to Oxford's total. Takes them on to 5.
And whereas one thing that Oxford can't afford is lots of wides with this low score. They can't afford to bowl wides. They need to be on the money here because 85 is not a high target.
Yeah, required rate less than a run of ball as Swanepoel in, and that's a loud shout for a winner. He looks good, is good. Horspath, Oxford have their second. Horspath 2 down in the second over.
Game on, would you say, Darryl? Game on.
They've started well, haven't they? They've come out with intent, and they've started well. Oxford bowling in the right areas, making it really difficult for the Horspath batters. Again, pretty expansive shot when you're only chasing 86, I would say, but that's probably me being a bit old-fashioned. I would say old-fashioned.
Daz ball. We have Daz ball, which is Darryl Woods.
Which is pretty boring, I have to be honest.
Elliot Truff, the out batter, just a single to his name. Stephen Green, the incoming batter, number 22 on his back. One of Oxford's, or Horspath, I keep getting these two mixed up. They're both in blue.
Don't get them mixed up.
Absolutely don't get them mixed up.
Go back to what George Tate was saying. More or less what he was saying was that if Oxford were disciplined, played to their skills, kept it nice and tight, they could see this game out. It looks early doors as though that is the case. So George Tate's captaincy, complete with his bucket hat, proves to be quite good so far. But we are only in the second over.
And Darryl, only George Tate could carry that off.
I'm not sure he is. I was thinking Fly Fishing by J.R. Tate.
Loud shouts of encouragement from the Oxford fielders out there, trying to put some pressure on these Horspath batters. As Swanepoel begins his run from the Dibley end, in left arm over to Green, places one out into the offside. Tate's on it with his bucket hat and all. Underarms into the keeper. There's a no run.
It's a fashion statement. I've even got one.
I've got definitely one, possibly more.
Don't throw away the flat cap, Wes.
I was given a free bright pink Vitality Blast one at finals day. Here's Swanepoel in again, left arm over, and again hits on the pads.
Do you reckon Wes is just in this game for the stash that he can pick up?
He just gets so get a lot of free clothing. Perks of the job.
Yeah, I mean, come on, seriously. He got to have the merchandise and wear the kit, hasn't he? For God's sake! So
he even got a medal.
He got a medal. He was on the pitch. He was on Sky TV more than the ruddy players were towards the end. I can tell you. Every time the camera panned round, there was Wes. Anyway, we digress. Wes.
Swanepoel bowls to Green, wrapped on the pad. Shout from the bowler. Not much from anyone else though.
High,
maybe a bit too high that one.
A bit
hit
high.
on the 5 pad was Stephen Green, but an excellent first over so far from Dylan Swanepoel. 1 wicket, conceding just 2 runs. Still a ball to go
We see Wes has got this medal. It's a H.
H 100, yeah.
Is it 100 or does it sound hindrance?
No. No, it is 100, so definitely.
Swampole to complete his over, slightly shorter and flick down the leg side. That's come off something. It'll be 4, whatever it is. Yeah. 4 leg buys. So Green's still yet to get off the mark, but good finish to the over from Oxford. 6 runs coming off it. Horspath, so I keep getting these two mixed up. Horspath, 9 for 2.
So we haven't mentioned much of Hampshire, have we, in the comms box today?
I just want to say,
we don't want to do that.
Before you start insulting them, I'm a Hampshire man, all right? So I'm with Wes here.
They've done well this season, haven't they?
They've done very well, yeah. Currently 3rd in the championship, semi-finalists in the T20 Blast, and finalists, runners-up yesterday. But I am pleased for Leicestershire after the year that they've had, losing 3 players. I think they've got a couple going to Durham. Chris Wright off to Sussex, and losing Paul Nixon in circumstances mid-season. As Farhan Ahmed continues from the Deer Park end, and it's out for a quick run. Shouts for bowlers end, but they will get there. Does Charlie Turner, and another run to total. Horspath into double figures.
No, I think the men and the women have done very well down at Hampshire, and I think it's a ground that I love going to, especially if you can sit in the either in the hotel on your balcony or in the pavilion end and watch cricket. It's a lovely place to go and watch a game of cricket, unless you get stuck in one of the car parks in the field where there's only one way in, one way out, and you take about 3 hours to get out. But if you avoid that, it's a fine place to be.
From the Deer Park end, slashed away into the offside, but straight to the point fielder. Over dot ball for Farhan Khan.
Just echo what you say there about Leicestershire. It's been a tough season, so it was a great game of cricket at the end of the day.
Great game, great advert for the 50 over game and the competition. Lots of young players getting their chances. Ahmed into Green, and that's dropped at mid-off. A fairly simple chance. And if Oxford do want to, they've only got 85 runs to play with, so need to take their chance. That was hit quite hard by Stephen Green, but not a difficult chance. Ahmed in, left arm round once more to Green. Tries to flick this one off the pan. An appeal, but definite bat on that one.
And I reckon, can I just jump in? George Tate said that actually the pitch was still decent to bat on, but Horspath are struggling as well, aren't they? Yeah. They're struggling as well at the moment. So
Farhan Khan in again, left alone down the leg side. Will be given a wide.
Don't think we've had a boundary yet. Let's have
4-leg bye boundary with the
4-leg byes. Yeah,
no boundary off the bat.
Off the bat. Yeah, just technically the one run off that previous over. Farhan Khan bowls and flicked away into the leg side by Stephen Green. He's off the mark of his eighth delivery. Again, batters not finding it easy to get started on this pitch. Horspath on to 12.
Just like to shout out for the partners now that not only are they giving us a bit of heat on a pretty cold day, they're actually giving us a bit of light too each time they flare up. We get a floodlight effect.
We haven't had them on enough.
We haven't had enough. No. We need more boundaries to warm ourselves up, I think. Where's
Khan to complete his over? Slightly slower ball this time, and a slash outside the off stump by Charlie Turner. Dot to finish the over. Just the 3 runs coming off that one. 2 off the bat plus the wide.
Is it Ramapal coming on next again?
12 for 2 after 3 overs. So 1 over remaining of the power play, and it does look like it will be Dylan Swanepoel, the left armer, to continue. Now that run rate has just crept above a run a ball, but still a long way to go. Still 12 overs remaining in this game.
Probably a big shout out for this bowler. He's been doing a lot for mental health in sport in Oxfordshire and beyond. If you ever get a chance to see the interview on the Bears and Barnes show, well worth a watch back with the interview with Dylan about mental health. Really good.
Swanepoel in, left arm over from the Dibley end, defended back up the pitch by Stephen Green. Take comes round as the fielding. Top ball to start the over. Again, lots of encouragement from these Oxford players out there on the field. Trying to put as much pressure on these Horspath batters as they can. Not a lot of runs to play with, but you'd say it's potentially Oxford on top at the moment. Horspath 12 for 2 in the 4th over. Swanepoel past the umpire, bowls to green, wrapped on the pad, big shout. Not out, says the umpire. Perhaps a bit leg side-ish. We can't really tell from our angle side on. Height looked good, but I don't know why they start trying to flick it away into the leg side. Perhaps not quite hitting him in line.
Do you reckon if we strapped a big sort of a drone on the back of our cameraman and flew him, we could get a spider cam effect? What do you reckon then, Daryl?
You're a bloody big drone.
Dan can't hear us actually. Can you hear that? He could hear it. I'm sorry about that, Dan. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm glad Kieran jumped in there. I didn't say a word.
In fairness, it would need to be a big one for me, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So
Cut away by green, out for wide into the offside. Horsepath 13 for 2.
More of an octopus cam rather than spider cam.
Dan, the cameraman, has just said he will get even with me. for that
okay,
comment.
yeah.
And I know he will, because the way he's looking at me.
Yeah, you shouldn't take the mickey at your camera crews, should you?
Especially
really?
when, you know,
we could have no
popcorn in the
people
kettle.
left on this show by this time next week.
Yes.
We're still friends.
Swanapart bowls to Turner, and that's edged and over the head of Shortford. It races away for 4. The first boundary off the bat, not convincing, but Horsepath won't mind. 17 for 2 now. Turner's first boundary, and we get some heat from the pyrotechnics, and it's quite nice. It's been getting a bit chilly, but the sun has been peeking out. It's actually gotten a lot better, the weather this time. A few days ago we were thinking, well, this is just going to be a washout of a day, but we've had some excellent cricket on show today, and it looks like it's going to be a decent game this afternoon. Horsepath 17 for 2. Sonopole in once more. 2 green flicked on the pads, and loud shout and given this time. Swanapole has his second. Oxford have their third, and that's a big celebration from the left armour. And it's Charlie Turner has to go for 8 off 7 deliveries.
Charlie
Horsepath
Turner
17 for 3.
Didn't look happy there, did he, with that decision, Charlie Turner? And I'm not sure what your views. I mean, I know we're square on, Daryl, but what were your views of that decision?
Looked a long way down to me. I had a lot to do, but umpire's in a much better position than we are, to be fair, and it was given. And yeah, the batter's got to take that decision.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a game on here, though, isn't there? 3 down. And all of a sudden, 86 seems not a long way off, but a little bit more challenging perhaps than it might have been at the start of the innings.
Yeah, absolutely. George Tate said it here, didn't he? He felt that if he could get up to that sort of around the 90 mark, that they would have a chance, and they've started well with Horsepath. Not reeling, but they're 17 for 3 in the 4th over. So this is going to be a tight game, I believe.
Just looking back at the DRS, Daryl, you were quite right. If you look at the batter was a long way down. He marched down the pitch. You have to be pretty certain as an umpire to give that, because Charlie Turner was a long way down there. But it's LBW, it's been given.
I'm trying to decide whether it's clearing up or looks as though it's getting worse. Coming in from our right-hand side, the Dibley end to the left, I think you can see the clouds scooting along. We see a little bit of blue sky as the ball comes in again.
Sonopole into Mohammed Ahmed, the new batter. Flick down the leg side. It beats Palmer at short fine, chasing it down towards the park end. Sliding stop. Managed to flick it back in, but Horsepath will come through for a third. Good running from Green and Ahmed. Takes them on to 20. Ahmed off the mark, first ball.
I think what we'll do would describe that decision as a sporting decision, because I wouldn't say you've seen them given, but looking back, I mean, it's really hard as an umpire, isn't it? Because you get one look. But Charlie Turner did appear to be probably 3 or 4 feet down the pitch outside his crease. So, yeah, possibly a bit unfortunate there, but...
Just say that you've gone back, presumably over the live feed, and rewound it, I assume.
Can't tell from here, somebody says, but we have looked back at the replay.
Okay, yeah.
And just see how far down he is. But it's been given. At the end of the day, it's LBW and Charlie Turner's out, but it makes for a very interesting game of cricket here.
Right, shortened overs. We're looking at 15 now instead of 20, and that's the end of the power play.
At this stage, Well, Horspath 20 for free after 4 overs. At this stage, Oxford 23 for no wickets, so relatively close score-wise, but Horspath have lost those 3 wickets. It will be Jack Wilkins, the new bowler from the Deer Park end. Just sitting there field. Deep third goes out onto the boundary rope. Got a deep cover. No one on the boundary straight. Got deep square leg and finer. So just the 4 out for Oxford as Wilkins bowls his first ball. Attempted cuts by Mohammed Ahmed. Wide ball called by the umpire. Turns one way, then turns back to the thatched scoreboard at the far side of the ground.
I'm quite surprised Spin hasn't come into the attack again with Tate or Jupp. It's Wilkins coming in again.
Bowling to an attempted drive and beaten again outside the off stump is Mohammed Ahmed. Decent start so far by Jack Wilkins. Yeah, who do Oxford have in terms of spin? Oh, Tate, obviously.
Harvey Jupp. Obviously, we've already seen the left armour gone in attack in the opening over.
And playing miss outside the off stump.
Tardy bowling, isn't it? So
Ahmed. Good stuff from Jack Wilkins.
I've been well and truly put in my place by Andy Smith. Stop querying the umpires. I will, Andy. Sorry, I am an umpire myself, and certainly, ultimately it's been given. And it's just an interesting game of cricket at the moment, because it really at the moment is anybody's guess where this is going to go. Because yes, although Horspath have lost 3 wickets score-wise, they're pretty much level with Oxford at the same time, and Horspath have got a fair amount of batting to come as well. Josh Richardson waiting in the wings next. He was the hero of the Village Cup Final, the Oxfordshire Final at Tiddington, hitting a 6 off the last ball back in the summer to win that game.
Caught behind, that's a big edge from Ahmed. Wilkins has another, Horspath have another, and it's Mohammed Ahmed, has to go for 3 or 5 deliveries. Horspath 21 for 4.
You said back in the summer there, Kieran.
Yeah, what day was that?
Yeah, when was that?
Was that a Wednesday, wasn't it? That was a Wednesday, wasn't it? I think you were out then, weren't you?
It was actually in June, and if you remember correctly, June was all right.
It was.
June was just the rest of it was terrible. Josh Richardson, then the new batter.
Again, I stand corrected. Medium pace has won the day there.
You could argue that the conditions have got a bit better. I mean, there's no wind now. There's a little bit of blue in the sky. It's a bit hazy. Maybe there's a bit more moisture around than there was earlier on. But it looks to me as though conditions are better. Is that a fair comment or not? Or is it?
I think it is a fair comment. Yeah, it's dried out a little bit, and we haven't had any more rain. No drizzle, nothing sort of dampness in the air. So yeah, I think you're probably fair point there. And I would imagine the outfield's probably a bit drier now than it was. There's still a bit of a breeze.
I think it's the scoreboard. I think it's a really strange bit of reverse psychology. It's a low score, and I think you're trying to get on with it, to get it done, and it doesn't quite work.
I mentioned, didn't I, in the interval, that actually sometimes these low scores can be quite tricky. Am I right again, Daryl?
Oh God, I'm going to have to say it again.
It's the 4th time today, isn't it?
You actually you cajoled me to say that time, though, didn't you?
Sorry.
Top ball again from Wilkins. 1 for 1 from his 5 balls so far. An excellent start.
I'm going to have to go and have a lie down because I've.
I think
it's just not good.
We're going to change your medication, mate. I think because it's not working.
I need it. Yeah. I need it.
Enjoy the drive home. Wilkins to finish is over from the park end. Full ball driven out to Tate in the covers, and an excellent start from Jack Wilkins. 1 over, 1 run, 1 wicket.
He's had an early start though, Daryl, and he was working yesterday, football commentary, full on. So he'll probably be asleep in the car going home. So that's probably a good thing, isn't it?
It's unlikely.
Oh, you think so?
The Duracell batteries have been put in early.
Can't you take them out?
He's just going to keep going, isn't he?
Just take them out. I'll lend you a screwdriver. They must be there somewhere.
But after today...
What? Go on. But after... Kieran Bushnell says, but after today, yes?
But after today, with the exception of Ox Sports Unleashed, Daryl don't see very much of me for the next month or 2. So...
Oh, okay. Is that because he's changing his glasses or what? There's cricket going on here. Come on. Wes, take control, please. Be
we are
sensible.
going to see the
Silver
first
lining.
introduction of spin today, and it will be the captain, George Tate, to
Minus
bowl
bucket
from
hat
the
too.
Divian. Yeah, bucket hat off this time. He's in right arm over, bowling his off spin. And that's it on the pad. First ball. That looks close.
Yes,
and
he's got it.
Tate strikes first ball for Oxford. Horspath 5 down now. Stephen Green has to go 2 off 12. Not a pretty knock from him. And Darryl, you asked why we hadn't seen more spin. Thought medium pace had been doing the job when Wilkins picked up a wicket, and now Tate strikes first ball.
Yeah, I thought spin would have an impact on this game, I have to say. And George was right, the pitch wearing, it was turning earlier, so, longer the day goes on, possibly it's going to turn a little bit more. So, Horspath are struggling here now. They are in turmoil. They're 21 for 5, just chasing 86.
Just looking back at that one, it looked as though Stephen Green just stepped across a little bit, tried to sweep it and stepped across. Hard to tell from here, but stepped across in front of the middle stump trying the sweep. So, LBW and 21 for 5.
I'm quite impressed with the fact that Kieran can actually replay the live thing and go back and do like a sort of a TMO thing and do that. I'm impressed with that. I mean, no fat fingers there at all. He's unless he's lying, of course, and he's not acting until he's making it up.
No, not lying, but just wanted to just check the stream, really, which is really good. It's a little bit distant from the pitch this year, but you can look back and you can sort of have a look at the decisions and the reviews, the decisions, and actually, it was pretty much looking as though Stephen Green stepped across there. Joining us is Will Eason now. So Will Eason, a bit of a legend of Horspath, is joining me from our commentary position. We're also on for Ox Sports Unleashed, our new programme, and Will, it's a game here, really. We felt that 85. We felt that Horspath, your field sets were excellent, and you did really well to restrict Oxford to a pretty low score. But it seems to me that it's quite tough conditions out there this second match.
Yeah, seems pace off the ball seems to be pretty key. We did that pretty well early on, and then sort of they had a period where it's a bit more pace on, seemed a little bit easier. And I think the sort of slower you bowl it, the more it seems to be sticking in the wicket a little bit. And we've not batted particularly well, which sort of sums up our season as a whole, to be perfectly honest with you.
So you got 5 wickets down. Obviously, you do bat deep. You've got, I think, a Minns next in, and you've got good batters down the order, but not ideal to be 5 down in any run chase. And I guess you just need a little bit of a partnership now. Still got time to have a partnership.
Yeah, it's just about not panicking. I always sort of think runs on the board is quite key in a final. And our guys have gone, a couple of not particularly great bits of cricket from us, which sort of gave them a little bit of a sniff early on. But I actually think they bowled very well. They bowled very straight, not really giving us any width. But we've just got to try and take the sting out a little bit for the next 2 or 3 overs, knock it around like these two have started to. And then just take it deep.
That's a real key, isn't it? You hear that so often. Take it deep. Take it to sort of the last couple of overs. Even if you need 15 off the last couple of overs, if you've got wickets in hand, then you've got that opportunity just to go big at the end there.
Yeah, and I think you look at the way that Oxford played as well. It's very difficult to try and clear the boundaries or hit the gaps and beat the fielders. We sort of had a 10 over period 9-10 over period where I'm not sure they even actually hit a boundary. So it's one of those that, we tried to cash in the power play early on, which obviously just didn't work. But if these two now can sort of hit the gaps, put them under pressure in the outfield, then, if we bat all of our 15 overs, it's going to be pretty close. I'm still going on a last over result one way or another. That's a good shot, and that will help.
Yeah, that will help, certainly. The outfield this morning was absolutely lightning. It has slowed a little, but it's still pretty quick, considering you've had all that rain. It absolutely poured down for a couple of hours. And actually, the outfield is still quite sporting, still giving you, if you play your good shots, if you beat the infield, it does tend to run away.
Yeah, you saw that, sort of looped over the top, but then did skid on. I don't know if that's because of it sort of being moist and kicking on, or the fact that it's still pretty hard and skipped on. But we just need to, like I said, just take the sting out for the next 4 or 5 overs, and then sort of reassess after 10 overs where we are.
Just while the game's going on, we want to talk about Horspath's season, the whole club, not just the first team, because obviously, the first team, everybody knows, had a tricky year, but as a club, you won the Oxfordshire section of the village knockout, got through to the national stages. Your twos finished quite high, and actually as a club, your under-19s continue their domination of the under-19 competition. So the club is actually in a pretty decent place, isn't it? Unfortunately, as we've had a run out there, but sold down the river a little bit there, unfortunately, so that's another wicket. But talking about the season, Will, the club's in a good position. You've got some really good youngsters coming through, and Horspath do have a fantastic history of bringing through youth cricketers.
Yeah, the youth system's going really well at the minute. Just sort of, obviously, with the first team finishing in the bottom 2 was not where we wanted to be, but where we've ultimately deserved to finish because we've not played well enough. Obviously this is slightly just past the balance at the minute in Oxford's favour, but we did win the first team did obviously win the Oxfordshire section of the Village Cup. Our seconds finished 3rd in Division 1, which was brilliant. The thirds and fourths both had really good seasons. The fours won their league on the last day, and the threes and fours both won their cup competition. So, as an overall picture, we've had a fantastic season, but obviously it's been marred by the way that we finished the season in the league with the ones.
And how does a club like Horspath assess the season and come back stronger next year? Because Horspath, a famous club in Oxfordshire, really successful over many, many years, and it's not a club that tends to be down for long, is it? And knowing you as I do, and knowing a lot of the people involved at Horspath, the good people involved, you're going to bounce back, aren't you? And that's really key, that you put this season behind you and then look to the future.
Yeah, I mean, we sort of wait for this to be done and then collectively come together and work out what we're going to do in terms of how we approach next year. In terms of, always been on the up. 20 years ago, our first team were in Chilwell Division 5. So, we've had a lot of success in the last 20 years. This season, obviously, is one that's not been great for us, but, we've been, on the receiving end of, some bad times as well. So we're going to, we'll have to bounce back. It's the way it is. I think personnel-wise, hopefully we'll keep the same crop. We've got some really good youngsters that have done well in Chilwell 1. Joey Todd captained them brilliantly. Joey's going back to New Zealand next week. So we'll have to sort of look at the second team captaincy, because he's led the twos for the last couple of years. But yeah, hopefully, if we can get some of the younger guys playing consistently, like they have done in the twos, into the ones, and then I think we should be okay.
And just finally, off the field of play a little bit, a word about the Horspath Barmy Army, that without a doubt the best supporters, certainly the loudest supporters in Oxfordshire, and wherever you go, a little bit different today because a lot of them decided when it was pouring down to go home, but having that crowd with you, especially in these big cup games, it's a brilliant atmosphere. They generate a fantastic atmosphere at the club, don't they?
Yeah, they're great. They're a bit quiet at the minute, funnily enough, but we've had the support we had, not just this year, but over the years. It's been, can't question them for their dedication and support. We went to, in the Village Cup this year, we probably had 300-400 people at the home game in the first round of the national stages. We probably had 80 to 100 down in Cornwall on the Sunday where we lost. So yeah, they'll even if we lose, there'll be plenty of noise from them.
Always plenty of noise. Will, thank you very much. The game's still going on. It's as Will said, Horspath a bit behind the 8 ball at the moment, but the game's not over. Certainly not over. There's still time here, and with George Tate bowling at the moment, I'll hand you back to Colin.
Thank you very much indeed there. So that's a nice interview here too. So and that's what I think we've been trying to do over lockdown with Friday Night Live with Oxford City and the other stuff that I've been doing with Paul Lyon and Patrick Lock at Oxford City, the Monday night podcast that we usually drop on the Tuesday night, which is Lockline Night Review, which will be folded into Oxford Sports Unleashed. You'll be able to get that on a Thursday, which I think is going to go out. Is it going to be stopped on the boundary? Yes. So is that four, I think. Yeah.
To Josh Richardson. Horspath 34 for 6 now into the 8th over. Still need 52 more runs to win, and that required run rate edged above 7 now.
It's edged above 7, and I don't want to be a commentator's curse again here, but they have got batting to come still, and dare I say that this could, as Will Easton said, if they can just take it deep and not lose any more wickets, get to within, I don't know, 15 or 20, even 15 or 20 in the last couple of overs, they've still got a chance.
That's definitely true, and we keep seeing little glimpses of blue sky above us. You can't see that on camera because the camera is pointed in the outfield, but actually it's an interesting day. You almost say it's sort of an autumnal mist because we're actually in cloud high up here on High Wycombe. If you don't know where Wormsley is, if you go down the M40 and you rise up through the cutting and takes you onto the level part where you go off to High Wycombe, it is just off the first exit. It says Stokenchurch, and then you got to hunt for the entrance though. If you don't know where it is, you're not going to find it. And then you can run out of petrol going down the drive. Wonderful place here. And right, change of bowling, I think, coming in from the, I believe, Deer Park end. Wes, who's this going to bowl
looks
now?
Like it's going to be Jack Wilkins to continue. 1 for 6 from his couple of overs so far. So will be his last over. Daryl, you look like you want to say something.
I was going to burst into Mr. Blue Sky, but I just noticed we've got 47 viewers, so I don't really want to do that.
No, they've been going up gradually. Each time you threaten to sing and then don't sing, the viewers just go up. Right, here we go.
Wilkins from the Deer Park end, bowling to Todd. Plays out into the offside. Almost overrun that, didn't sort of bowl. Not to be though. Dot ball to start the over. Joey Todd 2 from 5 so far. Josh Richardson 12 from 11.
And whereas all of us talking earlier around pathway players, currently all 4 that are doing the stuff at the moment.
No, right.
All 4 at the moment, Richardson, Todd, Wilkins, Tate, have all come through the pathway. I think Wilkins came through the Bucks pathway initially, but he then did join the Oxfordshire pathway. Saw the light and came over to the right county, which was good.
From Repton College.
Wilkins, right arm over to Todd. Again, tries to just dab that down into the offside. Gets an inside edge. It's I think Farhan Khan does the fielding there at square leg. Another run to the total. Horspath 37 for 6. Todd to 3. Brings Richardson back on strike.
I like what they're doing here. Just pushing it around. Just building up that score. Building up pressure back onto the bowlers.
Wilkins past the umpire from the park end. Down the wicket comes Richardson, and a good diving stop at cover by George Tate. The skipper, bucket hat stays on his head.
Yeah, that's quite good. I mean, can he do it with a pint in his hand and not spill a pint as well?
I very much doubt it. One of the best fielders, that we've had through the pathway, actually, and that, I think, may have stopped a boundary, because this time it has gone for 4. That's a great shot from Richardson. The ball before, Tate dived and stopped it going 4, but that's a really good shot there. And
it was even better because actually George had gone back after doing that bit of fielding onto the edge of the circle and went over the top of him. So, yeah, good bit of cricket that.
Yep, George would have been Josh's captain in the under-18s. But a lovely shot. And as I said, Josh Richardson has got nerves of steel, Darryl, because he hit a 6 off the last ball at Tiddington in that Oxfordshire final. So he's proved there, and he's proved a few times that he can knuckle down as well, as Wilkins comes in again to bowl to Richardson. Richardson forward, straight back towards the bowler, and Wilkins picks it up one-handed. That's a decent over, though, there for Horspath, 41 for 6.
5 off that one. 9 overs gone. Horspath still need 45 more. 6 overs remaining. This is a sort of comparison. Their DLS target has jumped up to 58 now at the end of 9 overs, so they are 17 behind on that.
41 for 6.
Probably a large part due to the 6 wickets lost.
And where's the second half century of the day? We've now got 52 viewers, which I think is as many as we've ever had. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We really do appreciate it.
Must have been my singing.
No, I
wasn't
think
your
it was. They've all got home now, having thought it was a washout, and suddenly realised there's a game on.
But no, that's fantastic. 52 concurrent viewers is as good as it's pretty much been ever, I think. And anybody watching that wants to pop a comment in to say hello or whatever they want to say, please do so, because we are monitoring the chat as well. It's getting quite dark here.
It is, yeah.
But we've only got 6 overs remaining, so I think we're going to be absolutely fine.
Harvey Jupp, the new bowler from the Dibley end, and that's
Ooh,
a
this
top
guy.
edge. It's straight to short fine leg, and the catch is taken. Horspath lose their 7th, and once again, spin from the Dibley end has taken a wicket first ball. Harvey Jupp dismisses Joey Todd, and Horspath in even more trouble now. 41 for 7.
Yeah, he probably had to take the chance, didn't he? In fairness, I think probably a new bowler coming on. I think you've probably got to put that pressure on that bowler. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be on that particular occasion. But Tyrone Isles coming in now. He's another lad who can put bat to ball. They've still got batting. This game's not over.
I just say I absolutely love Harvey Jupp's action. Like a frog in a blender. Do you remember Paul Adams, a South African player? I know it's a different type of bowler, but brilliant action. Love watching that.
Can I just say that no animals were harmed in this commentary? A frog in a blender, that's going to get you all sorts of stuff on social media, Kieran.
Just a great descriptive narrative, wasn't it? Of the
Very
bowling.
arms and legs everywhere.
It was lovely. I love that action. It's brilliant.
Left arm wrist spinner as well.
Kevin
Same as Paul
Francis
Adams.
used to play for Oxford United. Kevin Francis, yes, they used to say he was Bambi on ice. That was one of his the phrases applied to him. All arms and legs. He was 6'7". He's 6'7", I think. So, a frog in a blender, though.
It's rich coming from K-Dog, isn't it? Have you seen him bowl? Have you seen that action?
I have seen him bowl. Yeah. It comes out somewhere to far right hand in it somewhere. So.
Yeah, unlike you three, I don't talk about myself.
Ooh, kettle, black pot, which any order you like, to be fair.
Now, children, you're getting tired, but don't get fractious.
Jupp bowls to Isles, places off the back foot into the leg side. They could come back for a second here. It does sort of split the field. Eels wants it. There could be a third run out of the Horspath innings. There isn't.
Lovely sound effects, Colin.
He was so slow there. He got marooned in the mid there and didn't know what to do. Didn't know whether to stay or go.
Just looking over my shoulder there to see if there was a horse coming up behind me, Colin.
Well, we are watching Horspath, aren't we? So maybe that's what the noise was.
Oh, very good. Good.
Jupp past the umpire. Bowls to Richardson. Short ball pulled out into the deep. There's a fielder waiting out there. Takes the catch. Oxford have their 8th. Jupp has 2 wickets in 3 balls. Horspath 42 for 8 now. Still a long way away from their target of 86.
Just going back to Kieran's action. Yeah. Giraffe on lino.
Yeah, I think it was good to watch because at Downs we were we were right behind the wicket, weren't we? So you could see his action in its full splendour, both in the field and also with ball in hand. Bat in hand. How would you describe his action? Bat in hand, Daryl. Come on, we've had frog in a blender. Come on.
No, we're not talking about my prowess as a cricketer. Let's just move on with the cricket that's out there because that's what people are watching.
Okay, fine. Yeah, go on there. Off you go.
Daniel Smith. I don't know who Daniel Smith is. He says, "Can you send Colin for the Bovril? Nothing vegan."
Oh, okay. All right.
I do love a Bovril, I have to say.
All right, we'll get some drinks afterwards, lads. This could be over quite soon, I think, don't you, guys?
We've got a few comments in. Someone called Dan, a different Dan to the one sat next to Oxford on massive. And Andy Smith, come on the Romans.
Andy, the Romans are doing pretty well. 42 for 8 Horspath. Game's not over, but it's
Teetering a bit. I think.
Bumble would say maybe close to start the car time, but Horspath won't give this up. As I said at the start, big rivalry between the two, so they won't give it up. Horspath actually beat Oxford in the group stage of this competition this year. And Horspath and Oxford both competed in the same division, the Home Counties Feeder League this season. No ball is called. That's the first no ball of the day, I think. I'm pretty sure we will be seeing a free hit now. So that's a no ball and a free hit. I'm just trying to see who's on strike for the free hit. It will be
Amin Rafiq.
Amin Rafiq. And Amin Rafiq can put back to ball, and he's got nothing to lose here. The only way he can be out is run out or obstruct field. As Jupp comes into bowl, and Rafiq has a big swish, and it's just gone for no run at all.
Oh, disappointing, really. But
Typical free hit in amateur cricket. Dot ball.
I faced a free hit this season.
Did you block
Did you
it?
hit it?
Hit it for 4.
Didn't block it.
Only 4 of the innings. Jupp, short ball, attempted pull from Rafiq, and that just kept a little bit low, I think, that one.
At Oxenford, I faced a free hit and I left it.
oh, you left it.
I didn't know it was a free hit, did I?
That's good.
If Nick Rivet is watching, it's not only you, Nick, that leaves.
That's
a
almost
free
as good
hit.
as the toss we had first off, where he forgot to call until it was on the ground.
The legend that is Alfie Smethurst is in the room. Alfie, come on you Romans, come on Oxford, from Chandru. Oxford well on top now. 45 for 8 Horspath, 5 overs to go. The asking rate's crept over 8 now, and given that neither team have gone at 8s at all in this game, if it's this morning's game and there's a few wickets in hand, you'd still back the batting side, but at the moment you would say it's looking very much like it's going to be Oxford's trophy. The new name on the trophy this year, of course, for the first time in what seems like an age. Banbury won it something like 7-8 seasons in a row, and they didn't make the finals day this year. So for the first time in a long time, a new name on the trophy as Isles clips it down the leg side for a single.
Oxford beat Banbury in the semi-final by 1 run.
It was a cracking game. I actually saw a little bit of that on a stream, and it did go to the wire.
We've got an injury here. I think Amin running that quick single may have done a... Is it hamstring?
Hamstring or calf by the looks of it, potentially.
Could be calf.
Calf by the looks of things, the way he's grabbing his leg and
I think he might need
getting a drink and possibly a runner as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, unless I'm mistaken, unless it's an external injury, you can have a runner.
Spirit of cricket, you know, if the opposing captain says,
yep.
yeah, you can have a runner, then you can
What do you
have a
reckon
runner.
George Tate would do?
Actually, I think George Tate
think
would
he
be
would allow
fine,
a runner,
to be
yeah.
honest.
Okay. Probably okay, especially in the situation of the game as well.
Yeah, I think George has been called in, and you can see him with the both umpires now. The batsman 4 is on the deck, isn't he? He's in a bit of pain, I think, as well.
Of course, George could go viral again, not allow it.
Oh my dear!
But that's
mate,
not.
yeah.
That won't happen. I'm going to call that now.
Baguettes were amazing. I'm still very worried about those empty chairs over there, Mark.
He can't. He can barely walk at the moment, so he definitely
He's
can't
struggling,
run.
is,
And
Rafiq.
I reckon it's probably a calf, you know, Daryl.
It looks
Definitely
more like calf,
yeah. I think you're right.
It's the, whatever it is sitting.
so here comes.
One of them. I mean, why
Will
would they
Easton
go?
walking out,
Yeah,
drink
it's-
in hand.
I'll take it. Easton, is he the team captain? Is he to get this straight, to give him the right title?
He has been. He's been club captain. He's one of the Eastons. Horspath and Easton are synonymous with each other. That's another long word, Daryl. Looks like he was coaching this afternoon rather. Robbie Easton and Max Easton, the legend that is.
Absolutely, absolute legends. Back in the day when this happened in football, you'd bring on a magic sponge.
You would do, yeah. I know.
Magic
yeah.
sponge and a box A bucket of water.
And probably a cortisone injection at half time should do you no good at all.
There was normally tangerines we had.
Yeah. But what are the rules here? You can't have a substitute, can you? You can't bring on a sub for this sort of game. This is it, is it?
So, laws of cricket, if it's an external injury, you can't. Internal injuries, you can't. If it's a calf, in theory, you can't have a runner.
Right.
But, as Daryl said, spirit of cricket, normally at this level, you would normally say that there would be a runner, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I think I did see Joey Todd run into the pavilion, so maybe he's getting the pads on again and coming out to run.
And I think that will be what the conversation was with the umpire and with George Tate. You know, are you going to allow that? And I think that's fair enough because, that's not Amin trying it on at all. He's clearly hurt himself, and it's going to hamper him as well, isn't it? Now,
he can't bat. He can't move his legs around easily, can if he's injured.
Bit harsh saying he can't bat.
Well, no. What I mean is
I'm joking.
He's unable to bat to his full extent, isn't he? Because he can't move his feet as well as he could do.
No, it will hamper him certainly, and I think good spot there, Wes. I think it may well be Joey Todd, who is quite quick.
I think I will say though, Horspath have already had 2 run-outs this innings, and with a runner, things could be a bit more chaotic.
Could be a third.
Chaos.
So conversation between the umpires and some players still, and I think that's what we're waiting for, Darryl, by the looks of it, isn't it? We're waiting for a runner, without a doubt. So fair play. That's nice to see, even in the rivalry of a cup final, even though Horspath are behind the 8 ball. That's nice to see.
Good time to mention the Cropperty game, wasn't it, with the 2 youngsters batting 10 and 11 with an injury in the field where they could have run a second to win the game. They didn't run the second. They made sure that person was okay and made sure that person was carried off the field.
Yeah.
And then actually didn't win the game. They actually got bowled out. So for me, Fergus Lynch and Joe Sparks, fair play to you. You would get a well-spirited award without a doubt. I think that's brilliant, and that's how club cricket and league cricket should actually be played.
Yeah, I think if you were on the winning side and you hadn't have allowed a runner, would you have felt? I would have felt not quite right about that, frankly, because
there's 2 ways of looking at it, Colin. George would have been quite entitled to say no. But I think
that's not George. To be fair,
that's not George.
No, he came across as an honest
He
lad,
would have been
didn't
entitled to do that. Yeah. But I think I've seen it so many times in club cricket this season, actually, where common sense prevails, doesn't it?
Now this could be absolute chaos now because runners, Colin.
Yeah.
Can cause chaos. What we'll see in a minute is Amin will play a shot and then he'll set off for a run, forget that he's got a bad leg, probably fall over. Let's hope not. So as you say, he's going to hamper him a little bit here, but let's see how it goes. And Rafiq, you could immediately see there as he played the shot, he literally pulled up straight away. It's definitely his calf.
Oh, it's going to be.
And now the poor lad's got to walk all the way over to square leg. He's on one leg at the moment, isn't he? And
he is.
He's using his bat as a walking stick at the minute, and that must be absolutely horrible for him.
Just hope Isles doesn't play a pull shot or something that goes near him. It does go near him. They will go through 4-1. Puts Rafiq back on strike, and as soon as he's got to square leg, he's got to walk back to to take strike again.
It's like watching me run between the wickets.
I was just literally, you must be reading my mind because I was just going to say he's quicker than you now. Anyway, Rafiq's on strike and he's going to have a crack at that one. It's gone out into the offside. Now Rafiq's going to have to hobble back again to square leg.
I don't know where him being in pain. It's painful to watch, I think. You can clearly see he's not sprucing at all, is he, the poor lad?
Still quicker than me.
I hope someone's going to come out there and carry him off at the end, because if he stays in and gets a couple of scores, he deserves it. Right, where's some order?
Worked into the offside by Isles, and there is no run.
I'll tell you what,
left in the over.
If Amin Rafiq wins this game for Horspath, he should be carried off shoulder high. Without a doubt, because they're up against it at the minute. Wide down the leg side. That will help. That brings up the 50.
If he does win it, he'll forget he's injured and try and run and join in the celebrations and just not go anywhere.
Is that a mis-stumping?
Possibly, yeah, off a wide.
Farhan Khan into Isles clipped back down the pitch and dot ball to finish the 11th over. Horspath 50 for 8.
4 overs.
36
36
required.
from 4. Required rate
9.
to 9 now.
These
work that one
mathematicians by me, both sides, they were lightning quick, weren't they?
I was waiting
They
for
can do their 9 times table,
They
Colin.
can do.
Exactly. I was waiting for the scoreboard.
I'm impressed. Now then, what's going on here then? Bit of a change.
Have a drink for Emin Rafiq.
Possibly a painkiller, maybe.
Yeah. Poor
Yeah,
lad.
he's got to walk down to the other end now.
He's got to get there, hasn't he? And he'll
Have a
get
shout
there.
of Come on
Yeah.
the Romans from Ed Baldock in the live chat.
Hi Ed, thank you for messaging us. Hope you've enjoyed the stream and enjoyed the silly chat that you've heard from us for. Big thank you to Bill Deeks today for providing the pyrotechnics, keeping us warm as well.
He is, yeah. Keep it, and the light show too, because it's getting quite dark here at times.
Although
so.
he did fail to buy us a burger.
No,
but,
he was
Did
all
try and
right.
warm up that burger. For
I
the
offered him a drink.
pyrotechnics.
He was all right. He said he was getting around for somebody else at the time. So
George Tate then the skipper back on from the Dibley end. 4 overs to go. Tate comes in and bowls, and Isles. Sorry, Rafiq, drives, but straight to the mid-on fielder, and there's no run. And again, George Tate comes in past the umpire and bowls to Rafiq, and Rafiq has a big mow at that one, and that's gone out to the deep fielder, and it's another single, and now Rafiq's going to have to hobble over to square leg again.
Did you say deep fielder because you didn't know the position?
No, the camera was in the way, and I couldn't see, to be fair. Are you trying to correct me, Daryl?
No, would I?
Yes,
Would I?
you would. The camera's right in my eye line, so I was trying to work out where it had gone. But anyway, George Tate bowling to Isles, and Isles forward and plays it into the onside, and no run.
Need a boundary or two here, guys.
What would be
Right up
really
to 10 over now.
be really handy if Isles can find a boundary in this last couple of balls, and he tries to there, driven effort, but it's going to go straight out again to the long off fielder. I got it right that time, Daryl, because I could see around the camera.
Well done.
And just one run
Still
to
learning.
Isles. Who's the pro here? You or me?
Well, at the moment,
In comes Tate again, past umpire Bartrip, and he's bowling to Rafiq. And Rafiq has a big mow at that, and that's going to go out to the deep fielder. Just for you, that one, Woodsy. Just a single.
I knew you were jesting.
I was. 52.
They're calling it a mow from Rafiq is a bit harsh.
Tate to Isles. Can Isles clear the boundary, which he is capable of doing? No is the answer, because he's bowled by George Tate. He went for that, didn't he? He really knew that he needed to hit a boundary. He went for a big shot, but George Tate was equal to him and has flattened his stumps. And I will now say it's close to coin a Bumble phrase, it is now close to start the car, because just one wicket remaining. Isles bowled by Tate for 5, and Horspath 52 for 9 as the last batter comes in.
Another spinner knocking the stump out of the ground. Great to see. Love it.
Justin Clark, the last batter for Horspath, and a mammoth task on their hands now. 53 for 9, still needing a further 33 runs from 3 overs. Mathematician K-Dog.
Pass. 11.0 I guess.
well, I think it's been an entertaining day so far. It's not over yet. We've seen 2 very, very different games, I think. Conditions have dictated that, and we had an absolute downpour between the 2 games. And we should shout out again, as Kieran has said, to the Wormsley ground staff who worked tirelessly to get this second game on, even though Horspath probably aren't enjoying it as things stand. Right, someone's been corpsed down the other end there.
I'm getting tremendous clog on the live chat from Andy Smith. Oxfordshire Cricket youth teams will now adopt the fielding position deep fielder. Thank you, Andy. The second time was a deliberate ploy. The first time, in my defence, the camera was in the way. But anyway, we're into the 13th over, and Rafiq facing, and he pulls that one. And they're going to come back for 2. And a good 2 there, and that's needed. 55 for 9.
You'd like to see him get to sort of 70, wouldn't you? Or 65 to make it a bit interesting.
Yep, and that's not going to happen because Rafiq is bowled and Oxford have won the Hartwell Cup for 2023. Rafiq bowled by just for 7. A half-fit Rafiq, it has to be said, with the injury. And congratulations to Oxford. They've really performed here, because we were all saying at the halfway stage, Darryl, weren't we? 85 looked nowhere near enough, but George Tate and Oxford really fought for that win, and the fielding was fantastic and the bowling was excellent, and Oxford have run out deserved winners in this game.
I think we've seen actually 2 bowling units that have bowled to their skills. They've executed their skills really, really well. You know, they couldn't have done any more, could they? To actually defend a small total sometimes can be in your favour, but sometimes normally easily knocked off by the opposition. So, you know, fair play to Oxford. They stuck to their skills. The bowling changes were good, weren't they, actually? Yeah. And the field sets, again, there weren't many boundaries. That was the key.
Yeah, many thanks to everybody watching. Fantastic day's cricket. Tame just missing out to Henley this morning. Congratulations to Henry and the Wilf Bennett, and the Hartwell Cup winners for 2023. First name on the trophy for the first time in several years is Oxford, and George Tate's Oxford. He's going to come off and lift the trophy. And congratulations to Oxford Cricket Club. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to our commentary team, to Colin Ride, to Wes Spearman, to Darryl Woods, and our cameraman Daniel Smith, and a big thank you to Bill Deeks for the pyrotechnics and keeping us warm, and a big thank you to everybody watching as well. This has been a fantastic live stream, one of the best we've ever had. You know, lots and lots of people watching. I know that a lot of Horspath supporters and probably a fair few Ox supporters decided to go home halfway through the day because it was so wet. So very happy that you watched the live stream. It's been a good game of cricket, albeit low scoring. Oxford the winners, Oxford winning the Hartwell Cup for 2023. A reminder that from Thursday this week onwards, there is a new Oxfordshire Sports Show live on YouTube every Thursday, Ox Sports Unleashed, and we will look to bring to you the best of Oxfordshire grassroots sport. That's football and cricket and rugby, you name it, we will try and cover it. So please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just search for Ox Sports Unleashed on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, and as I say, we're looking to bring to you sporting coverage from around Oxfordshire that maybe has drifted a little bit by the wayside in recent years. We are looking to bring that back and bring into the spotlight Oxfordshire sport. Oxfordshire sport is at its best when it's watched by you, the viewers, and as I say, a massive thank you to everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed the live stream. We hope you enjoyed all the silly banter that was going on as well. And from myself, Kieran Bushnell, from Darryl, from Wes, and from Colin, thank you for watching, and a very good evening to you. Good night.
Good night.